two. Check, check. 1 2 1 2. Check, check. Mike Pence when he was in the Congress. He's a man of faith and a man of experience. I saw him talk on behalf of jobs and growth and opportunity, which ain't what Hillary Clinton's going to do. She's going to keep on making people poorer. This man is going to make us a success. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the governor of Indiana and the next vice president of the United States, Michael Pence. Give it up for Governor Jim Gilmore, my great friend, a great, great conservative voice. I'm Mike Pence. 2 short months ago, with my wife Karen at my side, it was my high honor and privilege to accept my party's nomination to run and serve as the next Vice President of the United States of America, and we're honored to be with you tonight. We're so incredibly honored to be with you. I appreciate that introduction, and you people are awesome. Thanks for being out. Thanks for being out on what we call a moist evening. But you know, where I come from in the Hoosier State, rain is a good thing. And tonight we're showing the media and showing the world this is a movement that's going to elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. You know, I joined this campaign in a heartbeat because you have nominated a man for president who never quits, who never backs down. He is a fighter. He is a winner. And until very recently, it seemed like he was out there fighting all on his own, but now this movement is coming together. Virginia is coming together, and we're going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States of America. You know, people ask me all the time, I've gotten to know this good man. People ask me all the time, they say, what is it about Donald Trump? And I say, you know, I'm from south of Highway 40 back in Indiana. You know, we speak pretty plainly. I just tell people, you know, Donald Trump just gets it. You with me? I mean, he's the genuine article. I mean, where else would an independent voice like his find a following like this other than in the land of the free and in the home of the brave? I mean, Donald Trump's a doer in a game usually reserved for talkers. And when he does his talking, he doesn't go tiptoeing around all those rules of political correctness that people put in the way of men and women that want to make a difference. He speaks from his heart. He speaks from his mind, and the American people hear him loud and clear. And we will make America great again when we elect Donald Trump as our next president. You know, it really is kind of fun to watch. The media doesn't know quite what to make of my running mate. Neither does the other party. I mean, many in the national media spend more time talking about what Donald Trump said in the last 30 minutes than they do talking about what the Clintons have been up to for the last 30 years. But the American people are on to them. It is kind of funny, though. Sometimes I got to turn on the television with a stick in the morning, you know? I mean, I never know what's going to be on there. You know what I'm talking about? But it's just so funny. It seems like every single day, they think they got him this time. Okay. All right, now we got that tweet. All right, that's going to That's going to bring them down. Or we got that word he did at that rally. We finally got him. They finally say. Then they turn on the television, and the next morning, Donald Trump is still standing stronger than ever before and fighting for the American people. And he's going to fight all the way to the White House. You know, I think the key about Donald Trump is he's never forgotten the men and women who built this country. We stand in this historic place with this incredible backdrop. And I got to tell you, my running mate is a man who has boundless confidence in the American people. He grew up just like I did, really on the footstool in front of the American dream. I mean, his grandfather immigrated to this country just like mine did. His father was a self-made man who built a business in Queens, and Donald Trump and my dad built a gas station business down in a small town in southern Indiana. You know, he and I were both raised to believe that to whom much is given, much will be required. So the kid from Queens moved a business all the way to Manhattan Island and built buildings to the skies, and I followed a calling into public service. I like to tell people, other than a whole lot of zeros, Donald Trump and I have an awful lot in common. A lot. I mean, a lot of zeros. The truth is, what we have in common is a belief in the American people, and a belief in the American dream, and a belief in the men and women who built this country and build this country to its day. People who work with their hands, who grow the food, who build our roads and bridges, who tend to our sick, who teach our kids. And Donald Trump will never forget the men and women who stand on the thin blue line of law enforcement to protect our families each and every day. Would you mind on this rainy night, let's just show the members of our law enforcement community in these challenging times how much we appreciate what they do and what their families do each and every day to keep us safe. I promise you, as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States of America, Donald Trump will stand with our law enforcement community as they serve us. We'll make sure they have the resources they need to do their job to keep our families safe. And Donald Trump will restore law and order to every city and every community in this nation once again. You know, the security of the American people is much in our mind on this rainy night, isn't it? We were shocked over the weekend. Shocked over the weekend when terrorist attacks came again to our shores. It's extraordinary to think bombs going off in New York and New Jersey, a terrorist attack in a mall in Minnesota. Our law enforcement community moved swiftly. An unarmed police officer, because he had a sidearm with him, took down the terrorist in the mall in Minnesota. And swift law enforcement actually captured a terrorist suspect already on this last Monday in New Jersey. It truly is a miracle that there was no loss of life. But the truth of the matter is, 7.5 years of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's brand of leadership has weakened America's place in the world and emboldened our enemies. Now, the White House actually said yesterday through their spokesman that we were involved in a narrative fight, in a narrative battle. You know, theirs is a narrative of denial. The truth of the matter is, we need a president who understands we are in a real fight against terrorists, against radical Islamic terrorism, against the ISIS caliphate. And when Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we will take the fight to the enemy. We will destroy ISIS at its source, and we will defeat radical Islamic terrorism wherever it emerges. What was most remarkable the last 2 days to me is that Hillary Clinton actually took to the tarmac yesterday and actually tried to blame Donald Trump's words for the terrorist attacks that came to our shore. It's really incredible. She said that his rhetoric had, quote, been seized on by terrorists and was, quote, giving comfort to our adversaries. Well, Hillary, I got news for you here in Virginia. Strength does not give comfort to the adversaries of the United States of America. Weakness does. And that's going to end the day that Donald Trump becomes the President of the United States of America. Donald Trump and I know America needs to be strong for the world to be safe. And Donald Trump, as President of the United States, will rebuild our military, restore the arsenal of democracy. We will rebuild our alliances. We will work with our partners in the world, and we will hunt down and destroy those who threaten our freedom and threaten our people. But you know, it's not just weakness on the world stage. But Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are all wet on the economy too. And the truth is, men and women, as we stand here in Virginia, we hear sunny stories all the time coming from the other side about how good things are. But the truth of the matter is, the American people know different. We're in the midst of the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. We're in the midst of an economy that has the lowest labor participation rate since the 1970s. And today, in this economy, there are nearly 7 million more Americans living in poverty than the day that Barack Obama became President of the United States. Hillary Clinton's solution is very simple. More of the same. More taxes. More regulation, more Obamacare, and more of the war on coal that's been stifling American jobs and the American economy. It really is extraordinary. For our part, I got to tell you, they tell us this economy is the best that we can do. But Donald Trump and I and all of you here on this rainy night know it's nowhere near the best that we can do. It's just the best they can do. And when Donald Trump becomes President of the United States of America, we're going to get this economy moving for all the people of Virginia and all the people of the United States of America. Because Donald Trump's got a plan. Donald Trump's got a plan, everybody. Very simple. It's a time-honored principles that have worked every time they're put into practice. We're going to lower taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, and family farms. We're going to let Americans keep more of what they earn. We're going to end death taxes once and for all. And we're going to lower business taxes so companies here in Virginia can create jobs here in Virginia instead of overseas in competitors. And Donald Trump and I are going to roll back this avalanche of red tape that's stifling growth and jobs here in the Commonwealth. The truth is the matter that on day one of a Trump-Pence administration, he's going to sign a moratorium on any new regulation, and he's going to repeal every single Obama executive order that's stifling jobs and growth in this economy. And the most stifling regulation of all is going to be gone on day one. We're going to repeal Obamacare, lock, stock, and barrel, and bring freedom back to our healthcare economy. And Donald Trump and I are going to do two more things. Number one, when Donald Trump becomes the negotiator in chief, we're going to have a president who holds our trading partners to the deals that they made. We're going to have trade agreements that work for the American worker and the American people first. And lastly, on day one of this administration, we're going to end the war on coal once and for all. We're going to release all the power of the American energy economy with an all-of-the-above energy strategy. You know, when you think of this administration, It seems like there's no aspect of our lives too small for the present administration to supervise. No provision of the Constitution too large for them to ignore. As this election approaches, everyone here in Virginia, the home of James Madison, the author of our Constitution, ought to remember, while we're electing a president for the next 4 years, that president will likely set the course and direction of the Supreme Court of the United States for the next 40 years. And we better think about that. We better think long and hard. I mean, elect Hillary Clinton, and you better get used to more unelected judges using unaccountable power to take unconstitutional actions. So let me just say this. For the sake of the rule of law, for the sake of the sanctity of life, for the sake of our Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, for the sake of preserving all the God-given liberties that are enshrined in our Constitution, let's decide here and now in the great Commonwealth of Virginia that the next president to make appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States will be President Donald Trump. And lastly, men and women, before I close, and give yourselves another round of applause for being out here. I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed. I'm going to pick up the phone with this soggy arm and call the man and tell him how great you all are. This is really amazing. It's just going to bless his heart. Virginians are tough. And you're going to bring Virginia home for Donald Trump on November 8th, aren't you? The last thing I'll tell you is, look, we got to make sure that we have the highest standards of integrity in the highest office in the land. I mean, the avalanche of corruption flowing out of the years of the Clinton Foundation and her years as Secretary of State have just been mind-boggling. I mean, literally, the Clintons recently announced that they would discontinue raising money from foreign governments and foreign donors if she became president of the United States, because then it would be a conflict of interest. Well, if it would be a conflict of interest if she was president of the United States, how was it not a conflict of interest when she was Secretary of State of the United States of America in charge of all of our diplomatic efforts? I mean, men and women, you know, the American people are tired of pay-to-play politics in Washington, D.C., and it's exactly the kind of politics that's going to end the day that Donald Trump becomes our next president. When he is in the Oval Office, his only special interest will be you, the American people, and he's going to fight for you every single day that he's president of the United States. Well, let me close with just one thing and let you all go find a towel. You know, as we talk about the choice in this election, it's so dramatic. You know, sometimes in my lifetime, elections have been a choice between one brand of leadership that would take us this far up and another brand that would just take us this far up. You know what I'm talking about. But this election, the choice could not be more clear. This is a choice about whether we're going to continue down the hill toward a weaker America at home and abroad, walking farther and farther away from the principles enshrined in our Constitution and the high standards of integrity in high office, or whether we're going to plant our feet and turn around and go back up the hill to greater freedom, a stronger America, and more American prosperity built on the ideals of this nation. That's this choice. It really is. And so my word to you tonight on this soggy evening is, after you get all dried out, go tell somebody. The reason why Karen and I came out here in the rain is you got to go tell somebody. Okay, this election is close here in Virginia and all across this country. And the truth of the matter is, the reason it's close is because even though it's just about a 2-to-1 fight every single day of the week, I mean, most of the media is doing half of Hillary Clinton's work for her every day. But the American people, the voice of the American people, has always been the deciding factor in this democracy. I mean, just remember this. You pulling aside a neighbor or a friend over a backyard fence at your place of work or worship and telling them what the stakes are in this election matters more than all the front pages in the world, all the television cable shows in the world. And so I want you to go here and tell somebody. Leave here tonight from this historic place and tell somebody that we have got to elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States, and we can make America great again. And when you do it, tell them one more thing. You know, we live in a challenging time in the life of this nation. It seems like there's so many things that divide us these days, so many great purposes that don't unite us as they once did. But I want you to know that in Donald Trump and I, if we have the great privilege of serving you, we will always believe that there is more that unites the people of the United States of America than will ever divide us. It's the ideals of this nation. It's our freedom. And it's our faith. And I will tell you that the man I'm running with is a man of boundless faith. Boundless faith in the American people. And boundless faith that we are now and we shall ever draw our strength from the truth throughout our history that we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, ladies and gentlemen of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, let me break it down for you one more time, just in case you're taking notes. We have a choice to make. It's another time for choosing. If you want a president who will protect this nation, rebuild our military, restore the arsenal of democracy, work with our allies, confront and hunt down and destroy those who threaten our people and threaten our freedom. If you want a president who will restore law and order to every city and every community in this nation and stand by our law enforcement with the resources and the support that they need and they deserve every day. If you want a president who will build a wall, make Mexico pay for it, restore our borders, and ensure that the laws of this nation work for the people and citizens of this nation and those who are legally here. If you want a president who will cut taxes, grow our economy, squeeze every nickel out of that bloated federal bureaucracy and repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel. And if you want a president who will upend the status quo in Washington, D.C., and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, then I say to my neighbors and friends here in Virginia, you have but one choice in this election. And I'm here to tell you, that man is ready. This team is ready. This movement is obviously ready. Let's go make sure that Virginia is ready, and we will elect Donald Trump to be the 45th President of the United States, and together we will make America great again. Thank you very much, and God bless you. It's an honor to be with you tonight.